Well, we've got another top PvPer. Yes, Eve's Most Dangerous. The playlist expands, and this time we've got InSTiiNK, who has been featured, that's their name, who has been featured a couple times as one of the top killers in recent months, and they're taking the time to talk to us today, so thank you, InSTiiNK. Let's see what value they have for us today. InSTiiNK, welcome in. Can you hear me okay?
Welcome, everyone, and hello, Loru.
We did it. We did it. We made it happen. Welcome in. Thanks for taking the time. InSTiiNK, we featured on our recent videos. Eve's Most Dangerous has been one of the top killers in Eve the past couple months. PvP's a ton, 14 trillion ISK destroyed is quite the stat. So before we go any further, I know that people are always interested in this. How did you start? How did you get into Eve? How did you begin this journey of yours?
Well, in real life, back in the days, I started playing in 2014, and back in the days, I really thought maybe some of you might know the game Dark Orbits. You know, it's like a browser game or something.
Yes.
And before 2014, I always thought Eve was like a Dark Orbit game, and at one point I was just playing a video game and I was watching a YouTube video out of it, and there was an ad, the very famous This is Eve 2014 ad of Eve.
Awesome.
And I was like, oh wow, this is not Dark Orbit. And I just closed my game, closed YouTube, started downloading this game, never went out of it again.
Sick. That's pretty cool. So they actually got you with paid ads.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. Hey, listen, paid advertisers over at CCB Games. Looks like you're doing something right. Okay, good job. You know. So you started playing Eve. You watched an ad. What led you then to start doing a ton of PvP? I see I mentioned in the sound check you were doing faction warfare, but that's not the case. It looks like you're doing. I got my wires crossed. You're doing a ton of PvP in null-sec. You are killing people. So what led you to null-sec? What got you out there?
Well, so just as I was starting, there was like a recruitment channel, and I did the trial, the first missions in high sec for like a few hours. And through the recruitment channel, rookie channel, I don't know if that exists still. People were just talking about like getting a corporation that pushes you way deeper into the gameplay experience. And so I started looking around for a corporation the exact evening I started Eve, and there was a French corporation back in the days who were like newbie friendly. And so I reached out to them, and they were like, okay, we are okay to get newbies, but just so you know, we are staged in null-sec, not in high-sec or whatever. And I was like, yeah, I never went to null-sec. And he said, are you ready for it? I said, well, let's try it. And so yeah, I settled with that corporation at that point, and I stayed in null-sec for the rest of my Eve career. So we were in an alliance called Circle of Two back in the days. That was a very nice experience to begin with.
Love that. So good old-fashioned recruitment from a null-sec alliance that had like a high-sec arm got you into the alliance. You then went out to null-sec at some point, and you never looked back. Is that fair?
Exactly, yes.
Incredible stuff. Amazing stuff. So we have been featuring you because you are one of the top Draugr pilots, and the Draugr chat is the Tech 2 Triglavian destroyer. So we see a ton of kills, and I only basically see you flying a Draugr. And even in some of these, you've even got Azoria's. This is a very expensive module on there. I'm actually going to look it up. So while I look this up, what led you to the Draugr as like your ship?
Like in, I think 2016, 17, so Triglavian ships were featured. And so of course the Kikimora began to be a thing. And back in the days, the Kikimora was even more overpowered than it is currently, even though it is currently still overpowered compared to the rest of the destroyers. So for like a pure nano PvP, Kikimora was awesome. And like I did way more kills with Kikimoras than I have done with a Drugger actually. And maybe in 2020, something like that, 2021, I started looking around for some fits with the Drugger, especially to have some links to go along with my small gangs and things like that. And I got a friend who was playing it with a 10 MN Afterburner, and he was just telling me like all the benefits of the SIG tanking with the Drugger. And I was like, does it? Well, I know 10 MN destroyers are good, but is it that good? And he said, yeah, let's try it. And I tried it at one point. And yeah, that I immediately switched to it because like that ship and that fit-in makes so you can actually have encounters, PvP encounters, and fight whole gangs, whole destroyers, cruisers, whatever, and even some fleets that, like, for example, track very badly due to artillery or something like that, weaponry, and you just avoid everything.
Wow. Yeah, it might be one of the best SIG tank ships I've ever seen, actually. And it's something people... This is what I'm doing these series for. Because many of you that are new are looking at this going, oh, I will never fly this ship. But you can practice a fast destroyer, a nano fit, as they say in EVE, as we say, okay? And you don't have to fly a ship that's currently worth 1 billion-isk in the hull, or whatever it is. It's like 500 million. This Draugr is very expensive right now because of the Barbaroga came out. So we've been talking about it. 400 million is for just that. And you don't have to fly these big expensive things, but I want to show y'all what it looks like at the poles. Dude is fast. And I see, I pulled up one of your fits while we were talking. I do see the Abyssal rolled Afterburner. How fast are you going with this? Because with just a compact one on, because I can't see the stats of the dead Abyssal, right? With just the compact one on, overheated, we're at 34, just under, and we're at 2,500 MS in a destroyer. Yeah, that's freaking very fast. What's your speed like? Are you using snake pods? What are you doing to go very fast? Tell me about it.
TLDR, the fitting that you actually have, that's my cheap variant. Like,
Sick.
I fly usually in a low-sec, a cheap variant, let's say it like that. Cheap at, to some extent, of course. But that's, how can I say, losable enough to just go to low-sec factional warfare and just have fun with it. And if you lose it, well, too bad. The one I usually fly with, that's just full Abyssal rolled with, of course, drugs and snake set.
Nice.
And with links, usually go about 7.8 heat and about 5.8 cold.
You go with full Abyssal roll, snake implants, which snake implants make you go faster on grid, y'all. This fit with just what I'm looking at, 2.5 cold. Did you say 5.5 cold?
Yes.
Well, nobody's catching that. That's disgusting. That's really cool. This is what this game looks like pushed to its limit, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so yeah, cheap is definitely relative, and some people are commenting this in chat. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what an endgame player looks like. 1.4 billion-esque is cheap for someone at this stage of the game. 5,500. You're talking interceptor speed on a Dragoon. That's crazy. That's really cool. Thank you for that insight. That's really interesting. So when you're going into faction warfare, you do some low-sec PvP. When you're doing this, what's the thinking methodology comparatively from low-sec faction warfare to null-sec PvP? Is there a difference in thinking? How do you approach it when you go into low-sec comparatively?
When you are in null-sec, you kinda know what's going on because null-sec is so vast. People are settled, but are not settled for combat in each system. So you kinda know what your targets are, and you don't see like traps and things like that settled in every systems. When you go to factional warfare, that's a different story, especially in high matter regions. So people have like cloaky people, they have recons that are immune to discan, so basically you don't see them on discan, and they hide them in factional warfare sites. So basically, before entering, you don't know what you will encounter, for example. This is the whole difference with null-sec, basically. And of course, in null-sec, you have bubbles, which you don't have in low-sec. So this is also a very different... So yeah, it's a totally different approach.
That's a really good point. Understanding this is something that newer players are going to be able to do as they continue playing. The more they play Eve, the more understanding they'll have based on where they are is just as important as what you're flying. So when you're rolling out, what's your like plan? Do you just yeet the ship when you're going into low sec, or do you like, I'm going to Z kill the place first? How do you, if you go into low sec, how do you start going, you know what, I'm going to start my hunt? Like when you log on to the game, how does it look? What's your process when you start your PvP hunting?
When I just open the game, like I will take my ship and just undock to do the biggest amount of kill possibles with that ship, without losing it. I don't particularly like taking ships and yeeting them like in a totally suicide Valhalla mode. Of course, that depends on the ships. Sometimes I fly very cheap frigates or destroyers or cruisers in low sec, and this is intended into like to be lost, let's say it like that. But I try to just push the ship up to its limits.
Totally. Yeah, we see some of your Catalyst Navy fits. We've seen a similar fit many, many times. They're a standard PvP fit, y'all. If you take nothing else from these videos, go check out the Catalyst Navy. Really good primer for faction warfare PvP. You can get a lot done with 40 million ISK. They do a ton of DPS. Enjoy it there. So, all right, so we've talked about low sec. You do, it's more spooky. There's less planning. Recently, I'm seeing you do a ton of ops with the corporation. Are you like on the front lines of the war that's going on right now between goons and horde, or is this like I'm gonna go hit the outskirts and hit the rear guard? What is like a typical day right now look for you? Because I see a ton of PvP in null-sec.
Actually, both. I've always been on null-sec front lines in pretty much all wars. That includes goons and pandemic horde, pandemic legion, northern coalition things, for like the past 10 years. So yeah, basically I join alliance fleets. I FC some alliance fleets also. I just go solo every time I see something in my space. I try to go and solo that. I take my ship and I filament out to a random null-sec system to just try and roam away.
Nice. Are you doing that with one account when you filament out, or are you doing that for two? What I'm trying to get at is like, you clearly understand the game enough that you've killed a crap ton of ships, 14 trillion under your belt. That's amazing. And a lot of players are seeing you with a big, expensive ship, and you're clearly very skilled with it. But is there any kind of setup there, or is it just, I'm going to take one ship, filament it out, and just see what there is? Or are you scouting stuff out first?
With the Dragoon, I always go solo and with one account.
Oh man, it's great.
Yeah. Awesome. With some other ships, like I fly a lot, like Hecates, size fleet issues these days. Sometimes yes. I take two accounts to have like double the ship, but I usually never just scout the thing. It's like, how can I say it? Spoiling the surprise.
Good point. Yeah. So in the Draugr, what's your favorite thing to go hunt? What's like your personal favorite ship to go find and like take out?
The favorite ship with my Droga, I would say an Orthrus.
Ooh.
Because usually Orthrus with rapid light missile that shreds anything that's destroyer and cruiser.
Yes.
And I usually shred Orthruses and Vedmax. And yeah, I will say the Orthrus.
Love that. Love that. I do love seeing a good Orthrus on grid. They are great. So, so you're flying these fast ships. You get it. You log in for the day. You're going to go hunting. You yeet yourself into a null-sec area with a filament, or you check out a low-sec area and do some faction warfare to go PvP some stuff. How are you making this ISK? Are you killing so much you're just looting everything? Or do you do PI on the side? You know, how are you affording, you know, Zoria's weapons for your Draugr? Where is the ISK coming from, InSTiiNK? The people want to know.
It's long story short, I will say trading. I back in the days had built a very big trading. I will not say empire, but it worked kinda like it. So I'm currently sitting on it for like years. I just keep on doing it, but not to the scale I used to run it though. And the good thing with like trading etc is that you can have like lots of accounts that you can play with and do funny things with, like for example scamming goons with contracts. So like during World War B2 war, I could do like lots of ISK with that as well. So all the very funny things that are still allowed in that game. So yeah, everything like to the every aspect of the game, just pushing it to the to its limits.
That's pretty awesome. Is it fair to say that you do market PvP, like trading PvP as well?
Yep.
This is the most EVE Online person I've ever talked to, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, this is InSTiiNK, not just is one of the top killers of ships and space pixels in EVE. They also go after people on the market. So that's really awesome, dude.
Yeah, that's fair saying like that.
He's PvPing people. I'm going to say that 5 times fast. In space and in the trade hubs. So help us understand how you're doing that. Obviously, you mentioned like scam contracts. That's easy enough. You put up something for that's worth $1 billion ISK for $1 million ISK. Maybe somebody accepts it, whatever. Are you doing like standard Oz report stuff where you're buying stuff low, selling it high? Are you doing industry to make stuff and then sell it at a profit? Or are you purely just investing ISK in the market and then selling it back to people?
No, it's pure investment. I've never touched industry.
That's amazing.
No, like logistics, so jump freighting things. I've never done that. It's just pure trading. So yeah, TLDR, buying low, selling higher. Of course, that includes like moving stuff all around from point A to point B, even to some point C. So yeah, seeding hubs. That's when I say hubs, it's not only like the high-sec hubs, Jita.exe, Amar, Rents, things like that. It's also like PvP hubs or hotspot hubs in game that often move from a region to another. And also like convenience sale, I would say, is a very nice way to do ISK. So people are literally, how can I say this? They are able to spend an incredible amount of ISK just to get their like a few nanites in some dead-end systems no one ever goes to, but hey, they have their nanites on market to repair their modules, you know?
Right. This says PvP hubs chat. I drew this on screen. I realized my massive forehead is in the way. That is a great piece of knowledge for people to understand. You can take the same items in Jita and you can move them over to a PvP hub where there's a lot of action, where there's a lot of people buying and selling stuff. And nanites, for example, will be more in this PvP hub because people have done the due diligence to haul stuff over there. So this is actually very impressive because I haven't talked to anybody that has your kill streak repertoire that also does market PvP, as we call it in EVE, people buying low, selling high, moving stuff around. Do you use like Tech 2 haulers? How are you moving stuff around if you don't use jump freighters, if you don't mind me asking?
I just pay people to move them for me. Either if it's in my space, like we have, of course, local freighting services.
Right.
And in EVE, it exists also some public services. For example, Pershix Industries, which is a very, very nice public that's... So I'm doing free ad for them. I will ask them some risk for it.
That's right.
So yeah, a very nice way to move your things.
You can curse, it's fine. This that's pretty incredible. So you don't even haul on your account. You pay other people to haul. InSTiiNK is a PvP entrepreneur, ladies and gentlemen. Look at all the jobs being created by InSTiiNK, paying them to haul stuff. This is incredible because I haul all of my own stuff. I know that there are services that provide this kind of thing where they do haul for you, but that sounds ridiculous to me because I just like hauling my own stuff because I save the money, right? But this makes sense for you, where you are the one who's out there PvPing your heart out and getting a ton of kills. You don't want to be spending time off grid outside of your Draugr. You don't want to be, hauling some Occult or a random place. Right? You are paying a service to take items to hubs, and then do you like pilot there and then make the market orders from there, or do you have like maxed out market skills so you can do stuff remotely?
I can do it remotely, but usually I just have some alts that are in charge of putting and refreshing all the orders. And with InSTiiNK, it's just like PvP and that's it.
Really good point. You have 3. I'm so glad that you said that actually. So your character sheet, Chad, has 3 slots. Okay. It's the worst rectangles I've ever drawn. And InSTiiNK's first character, InSTiiNK, is PvP. Alts are for trading. You can trade up the other stuff on your alts and then leave them in trade hubs or have jump clones on these guys. And then you can log in to this dude, reset the orders, log out, log back into his main to get some PvP. We talk about this a ton on our alt training guide. This is really interesting, InSTiiNK, and I'm so glad that we did this talk because you are opening a ton of people's eyes to what's possible in EVE. And it's similar to our last interview with Val. But what's so interesting is how you're very unique comparatively to Val, even though the end result is the same, a really good EVE PvPer. But how you go about paying for stuff, how you go about playing is similar, but different at the polls. Very interesting stuff. So you get this ISK, no indie, trading hubs, refreshing orders. You assign back onto your main, you do some PvP. So what are your like goals? You're one of the top Draugr pilots in the game for 2025. Your cheap Draugr fit is some people's in chat's net worth. What's InSTiiNK's goal here in moving into this? Like, what does an end game player like you even do, right? Like, what is your goal?
It's a tricky question for a game like EVE, in which every aspect of the game is so like deep that everything moves every day, and when you open that game, you don't know what you will do or what's gonna happen to that day,
Yes.
So I would say like doing the biggest amount of PvP. That will be my first goal, and yeah.
That's great. And obviously you don't have to reveal everything because I'm sure there's stuff you're working on. You don't want to OPSEC, right? So totally. Well, this has been great. I think this has been a really interesting showcase into how endgame PvP can go if you set up. He still has systems, Chad. He has alts that get trading going, that supply the main. InSTiiNK, great stuff. Anything you want to say to the people before we call it? I know you wanted me to talk about a link of some kind. Tell me about it.
Do PvP, guys. That's the biggest and most rewarding for your actual fun part of the game. PvP is like the best part of the game, I will say, and this is what this game has been told. And about trading, what I just wanted to add is that
Yes.
if you really want to do ISK in that game, don't focus on like optimizing one way to do ISK. I see a lot of people like, for example, doing ratting with like Ishtar. So you put on field a tech 200 million Ishtar, and you do, for example, 20 million ticks, and they add like faction or dead space that pushes your Ishtar from like 200 million to 1 bills, only to get a few millions more on the ticks. So that's optimizing, and the return on investment is not that great. So I would say, especially, and that works so well with trading, diversify and multiply the amount of activity you do at the same time, and don't try to optimize one of each of them.
Really good tip. I like this a lot. When a lot of newer players here investing in the EVE market, they're like, oh, I'll just buy Plex. No, what InSTiiNK's talking about, y'all, is going into the market and finding market opportunities, something that you can buy in Jitta, let's say, and sell it in a PvP hub for less, or for more money. And you mentioned nanites. I'll just feature nanites because they're easier for newer players to understand. They're going for 26,000 in Jitta, but you start going out a little bit further. You start getting to places where they are being sold for 182,000 in a faraway place. Now, maybe that's a hub or not, I'm not sure, but still, there are opportunities to be able to make ISK, make money in places in EVE. You gotta do the work. You have to put the work in, and that's why we're talking to InSTiiNK today, ladies and gentlemen. So, InSTiiNK,
I will give you the best example.
Please.
Yeah. Like you were saying about nanites, yes, but the best example that comes to my mind, especially with like null-sec, check the price for EC tax 300 drones. It's like a few thousand ISK.
Yep.
You put them on any like null-sec systems for 5 millions, they sell. They just sell.
Buy them for 10K, 9.9 thousand ISK, not million, 9,000, and they'll sell for $1 million. This is called market arbitrage, ladies and gentlemen, and it is a part of EVE, and this is a very valuable. Man, I love talking to endgame players, chat. They got so much knowledge, and I'm happy to share it with y'all. And InSTiiNK, I have to honor you, because InSTiiNK, actually, and I'll put this video in the link in the description as well, InSTiiNK has a YouTube video where a fellow EVE tuber, look at that, y'all, go check out InSTiiNK's channel, go give a sub, and check out, it's about the Draugr, so it's literally called 1v1 everyone, one verse question everyone. So go check out that Draugr video. Enjoy it. Thank you. Yes, InSTiiNK, of course. Thank you for that. InSTiiNK, the floor is yours. What is the final word you would like to say to the people? What would you like to say to the people? Tell them.
Well, first of all, thanks a lot for this interview. That was very nice and very kind of you to put me on Twitch today. Of course, thanks a lot for everyone for listening. That's been all my pleasure. And the final last words, get yourself into PvP and see you on field.
Awesome. InSTiiNK, thanks very much. Chat, this is why we do this. Excellent value, seeing what it looks like for an end game player. I know that I have gotten a ton of ideas here. I have to look into how I can pay other people to haul my crap. I hauled too many things. How much time could I be spending playing the game if I'm not hauling stuff? I have to, you know, I'm so glad I've gotten to do these last interviews in our EVE's Most Dangerous playlist. If you missed some of our last interviews, some of our other features, check this out. Showcasing the players that make EVE what they are is what this playlist is all about. So thanks very much. And if you want more of the best EVE guides, sub right here. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks very much.